Alright, got some really cool stuff to get into. So let's just go straight into the examples. Here is a video Chi Master demonstrates his power. Pretty cool. That's not what we're interested in. He's got a newspaper and he sets on a fire. John Chang does that one. So it looks like the sand, or the gravel or whatever, is being attracted by their hand. And you can see he's basically zapped that guy there. He's pushing energy through his hand, and it's going through the man's body. And you can do this yourself. It's a pretty easy one, and you can cause people like a jolt. You're going to have to use a lot of energy and a lot of pressure, but so that's a pretty interesting thing. Now, if we type in electrostatic experiment sand, so what's got here is called a Van de Graaff generator, which generates sparks. Okay, I think it uses like belts and like rotating belts and whatever. And you can see he's kind of pulling up the sand because he's touching the Van de Graaff and he's getting like statically charged. There's a better example in a minute. Look at that. That compared to, it's the same thing. At least to my eyes, that's the same thing. So what's really going on is, I think, now firstly, get this out of the way, you could think, well, that's how they faked it. If you were skeptical, you could say that's how they faked it. But here's the thing, I'm not interested in any of that. I want to know how to actually do that with, the human body, with the human energy. I'm not interested in trying to disprove things unless they look so obvious that they are fake. Mind you, there are some scammers out there. You do have to be, realistic, especially if they're trying to sell you, $100 or $1,000 courses on how to do this kind of crap, and they don't show any, tutorial examples. But if, the idea of Chi, we practice this and we train this. So I think that the idea of electrostatics is very, very related. Now, firstly, what is electrostatics? You've got electrostatics, also called dielectricity, and magnetism, and this makes electromagnetism, or what we call electricity. So the electrostatic is a spark. High up in the atmosphere, you've got lots of electrostatics. That's what makes that blue ionosphere. A taser is like an electrostatic discharge, right? A piezoelectric stove. So if you've got a gas stove and you do that little thing which zaps, that is electrostatic, right? And if you've ever seen, if you've like rubbed a balloon on your hair and your hair goes up, again, electrostatic attraction, right? Polystyrene, all these kinds of things can electrostatically attract to you. So it looks pretty obvious to me that all these things can be done. This can be done by holding a Van de Graaff or some electrostatic generator. This can be done, again, if you use a electric pulse. The setting this on fire, same thing. You get, enough sparks and you set newspaper on fire, right? All of these things can be done through electrostatic energy. Lighting up a light bulb, for example. You've got people lighting light bulbs. I think I can find one maybe. We can look at this up. He's got a light bulb and he's lighting it up. Again, you have to have like this has to somehow tie back into reality and physics and such. Assuming physics is real, of course nowadays it's kind of it's a bit shifty, but I'm assuming all this stuff's real. It has to tie back somehow into that. Objects can be pushed with, again, electrostatics and manipulating electromagnetic fields. This is a student pushing, I think they're cigarette cartons. What he's doing, he's projecting the yang energy, which I believe, again, could be the electrostatic in this case, and the the magnetic energy is released. There you go, he's pushed it. Let's just see there. I'll put that back. Look right where the mouse is. Push the box, and John Chang is using his magnetic or the yin energy to allow like a pathway for it to push. Again, all of this can be done with electromagnetic technology. And I want to stress, I'm not saying it was done that way. But I think these people, you see how he's twitching? Look at that. Essentially he's electrocuting him. And that's therapeutic, of course, because imagine if someone has like a spinal injury, and you start, therapeutically, it's electrocuting. It doesn't sound nice, but therapeutically, electrostimulating, let's just say, the lower parts of the spine, then you start getting the legs working again, right? You start, just briefly, you start kind of clearing out the nerves and all the toxins and such. Yeah, he says pushing together the yin and the yang, or the positive and the negative. The negative being the perineal region, and the positive being the lower belly region, and creating a spark essentially. And here he is again, and you'll notice a lot of the time they are using tension. Look at that! Look at how much tension he's using. Again, when you tense, the muscles are being the electricity is stimulating, or it's kind of being produced and such. And he just, look at that! He just fucking set that on fire. Absolutely crazy. So again, starting putting stuff on fire, causing people to twitch, to kind of jolt and twitch and move. These are all things, and this is when he shoots a BB, I think, in his hand, and catches it, and it's like, and he protects himself. It protects him. It's literally a force. It creates a force field. I think he's trying to light up. It lights up an LED. Well, shit, direct. That's literally So what I'm saying is, like, this stuff manifests into direct current or into alternating current, depending, because it can be both of them. And then it's a good question: is all this stuff, is it just electricity? Is it just electromagnetism? Or is it that it's manifesting into electromagnetism? It's manifesting into an electrostatic energy that pushes the sands, that zaps people, that, or like a magnetic force or something that protects you, right? It's a good question. Here, this is his student pushing. Has he already done it? Pushing, I don't know if it's like a VCR tape, or there you go, bottles or something. Maybe they're cigarette cartons. And he's holding his lower belly, his lower abdomen, because that's where they store the charge, essentially. You can look all this stuff up. Again, this one, or you can just ask me in the comments, or you can just look up chi powers, maybe chi abilities, and there should be like podcasts. This is a guy pushing a brick. Whether it's real or not, I don't know, but objects can be manipulated, especially metal ones, electrostatically, but non-metallic, through like radio waves and other devices and other things. There are different forms of telekinesis that can be performed by machines, and I imagine humans are just tapping into this. It's a natural thing. I totally got to think this is all a natural thing. All this electromagnetism is a thing of nature. Look at that we're kind of using, right? Here's a good one. This guy, it's kind of like the Fa Jin. He pushes him all the way back there. Let's see if I can get a better shot. You see that little jolt? So it's like he shocks his nervous system, is the best way to think about it. Or like energetically kind of pushes him back. so he can't attack him. He's like, invincible. See, I can project my energy. Yeah, these are my thoughts, right? So he's projecting his energy. It causes him to like jump and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? So anyway, look at that. It's like he's using a taser on him or something. So basically he's kind of like overriding the other guy's nervous system is the best way to put it. But anyway, getting back to it, so I have had experiences in very high energetic states of like kind of almost not like electrocuting people, like you do a little zap, you like rub your feet against the carpet or whatever, and then you do that little zap. Not that, but it's like tensing my hand, and it like it's just like it is kind of like electrocuting them, but it's I don't know, it's different. Maybe it's different. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I've had that experience before, right? So it really brings up a lot of questions. Of course, we can look at the idea of yin and yang qi as cold and hot air or energy, right? The idea of hot, radiation, which is like the heat of the sun, the rays of the sun, also light, and then a higher force of that is electrostatics. Similarly, cold, like moisture, like solidity, magnetism. These are all like the feminine or the negative, the yin qualities, right? Either way, I don't think it's too far outside of possibility that maybe humans can control electromagnetism, or at the very least electrostatics. Last one is, I think, the Plasma Research Channel. I know I misspelled that. This guy has a lot. Here we go, Plasma Channel. I don't know if you let me show his videos, so I'm not going to. But he has lots. That lightning gun is what kind of made me think this. Here we go, he's got levitation, where he literally levitates an object because he's electrostatically charged. You just look through his ones where he uses his own hands and such, and you'll see that essentially all of these like abilities can be replicated through artificially, in putting electricity in you. I don't know if anyone's seen. There's like a video of a guy who I think he's repairing TVs, and then he like zapped himself, and then he could charge himself up, and had all these like funny abilities temporarily. Like, I think he could turn things on and just do crazy stuff for like as long as the charge lasts. So if you can learn how to create this charge, which I guess John Chang was saying, compress the chi or combine the chi or whatever, and then internally, and then you create the energy. It's like an explosion or whatever, like nuclear force, and then you just project it out. So yeah, that's crazy stuff. Anyway, that's something to look at, something to practice if you want to do that. So of course, check the links in the description, social, commercial stuff, and have a nice day.